You know, one of the questions we ask ourselves is, how did we come to be so fortunate to be here? And then if we're so fortunate to be here, why would we go to Lexington? And I guess the answer to both questions is it's because of love. We came to South Carolina because we had a family member in trouble. She was elderly and in a nursing home. We loved her dearly, and so we didn't really feel that we had much choice but to relocate to South Carolina. I was fortunate. I found a job here locally, and my husband was able to work remotely. So once we arrived, our next step was to find a home.
The first house we looked at was in a subdivision. It was a nice place. It would have been a good close location. It would have been close to work, close to the nursing home. It was a brand new house, but there were young families in the neighborhood, and the sound of a basketball bouncing next door, well, that sort of killed the sale of that house. We liked the house. Our children were grown, and our youngest was in college and away. As empty nesters, we needed a more mature neighborhood. Well, more mature and quiet, or something that was not quite so noisy as a subdivision. So after much discussion, we decided to look at a rural property to see if it would be suitable for our needs.
When we first came to the property, it was a leaf-covered lane that had logs laying over the road. And I remember walking down the road, stepping over logs, thinking the trees, the pines and the oaks formed a canopy that was almost like walking through a tunnel. And at the end of the tunnel was a clearing with a turnaround and a very old house, very unique old house. The house itself was in pretty bad shape, but in addition to the old house, there was a studio, and we learned that the property belonged to an artist, and he had actually taught art classes on the property. He taught at Converse, and we were fortunate enough to basically enjoy his studio, which is really nothing more than a shed now, but it's a quaint feature of the property. But in all, I think the one thing that was in the clearing when we actually walked in that caught our attention was an old oak tree, a grand old oak tree. I mean, it was beautiful.
We had an arborist look at it and say it's about 375 years old.
Isn't that truly amazing that that tree would have been on this property from the 1700s? Just truly amazing.
We pushed through the brush behind that studio / old barn and walked down the hillside and discovered a really nice building site. We could see the potential for what I call hole in the woods. That's how I refer to the place. It's exactly what I wanted. But yet we're still 10 minutes out from the freeway, and we're less than 20 minutes from downtown Spartanburg. 60 miles to Charlotte, 90 miles to Columbia, and probably about 30 minutes from the Carolina mountains. We had the best of both worlds.
We custom built our new home with the idea of living on the main floor, but with having another living area that we could close off. The walkout basement in this house met that need, and we designed it to let our family and friends have their own space. We put a small refrigerator and a microwave in the bar area, and a small dining space completed the concept, allowing for snacking or playing cards. We also converted the bedroom on the second floor to be an office where we both could work as needed. The office space on the main floor then became a sitting room, and frankly, that's where we spent our time watching TV. I'm a quilter. I quilt, and having the bonus room is a blessing because it allows me to keep my tables ready for cutting and sewing, and it keeps all my sewing out of the main areas of the house.
We've really enjoyed this house. We love the wildlife here. We love the location. It's location, location, location. When we first moved in, we would wake to a flock of about 60 turkeys strolling down the driveway to eat at our bird feeders. Lake Blalock is a fishing lake, and in the early morning you can see fish jumping. This is also home to every type of animal that South Carolina has. Deer, groundhogs, woodchucks, possums, raccoons, muskrat, beaver. We also see eagles, osprey, blue herons, ducks, geese, Pileated woodpeckers are another species we see from time to time. When we retired, we built a dock and a swimming pool, and our grandkids have truly enjoyed them. Kayaking is available on the lake, and the lake, according to some of my fishing friends, is a premier bass lake in the upstate.
Our home has been filled with love and laughter, memories made, and an appreciation for friends and family. Life is slower here, but now that we are entering our golden years, it is time to move closer to our children who all live several hours away. We are at that stage of life where we need to downsize and prepare for the future, to ensure our needs are met, and to make it easier for our children to help us when needed. Yes, it's time to move on, and in doing so, we can only hope this house, this home, belongs to another family who will appreciate its unique beauty of living in this hole in the woods.